Let's break down some Michigan now. I told you about Ohio State, what makes them tick. Well, let's talk about Michigan, all right? Well, they're ranked number 3 right now in college football. Their offense, top 10 in the country, scoring almost 40 points per game. And the Michigan defense is the only team in the country in the top 5 of college football on both rush and pass defense. This defense has actually gotten even better from a year ago, which a lot of people didn't think was possible, right? Because of that really good defense with Aiden Hutchinson, David Ajabo, Daxton Hill, and yet they have gotten a little bit better. I want to talk about their structure. I want to talk about Blake Corum, how he can play above the X's and O's. And then I also want to talk about JJ McCarthy and what I think he needs to do in this matchup against Ohio State to be successful and for Michigan to be successful. Let me start with Blake Corum because he's their guy that is a Heisman-type guy. He is their guy that needs to play above the X's and O's. And he does that. Now, a lot depends on his health. So we will see how effective he is going to be in this game or if he even plays at all after that injury to Illinois. But what I'm going to show you is both an illustration of what he needs to do to be effective against Ohio State if he plays and what they would be missing if he doesn't, which we actually had a great case study in the second half of that Illinois game. Let's take a look at Blake Corum. Okay, so Blake Corum, this is against Penn State. Okay, so there's 7 guys in the run box for Penn State. There's 7 to block them. This is a foundational run, just an easy run. And when you only have 7 guys in there, watch out. Katie bar the door, as my coaches used to say, because this dude will make you pay. You block it for 6, he's going to take it the distance. And he does right there. And did you see the speed with which he hit the hole? That was because he saw there was 7. He knew that they were going to be blocked. And boom, he was like shot out of a cannon. He didn't have to wait. He didn't have to remain patient with a little slide step because he knew he had hats for hats and he could exploit it right away, and he did. Let's take a look at another play. All right, so this is where the defense is actually going to absolutely succeed here. Corum's just on a little wide stretch play over to the right side. They're pulling these linemen out in front, and Penn State's defense plays it well. This should be a tackle for loss. Abdul Carter has got him dead to rights in the backfield, but watch how strong he is. Arm tackle, runs right through it. Then there's another Penn State Nittany Lion. He steps by him. So what should have been a tackle for loss ends up being an explosive run for a first down. Okay, so if you block it properly, he takes it for a touchdown. If you don't block it properly, he's still succeeding to the tune of even an explosive rush. That's why he's so important to Michigan's run game, because he is the eraser of mistakes. Even when that great offensive line makes mistakes, and they will, even when it's a bad play call, which sometimes happens, he can still succeed, which puts your offense in second and short, gives you a first down, keeps you on schedule, right? So when you don't have Blake Corum, that's an issue, and a massive one because of the level of his game. Okay, so now the quarterback, JJ McCarthy. Let's just say Corum is healthy, but maybe not 100%. So more of the pressure in the overall sense of it is going to fall on the quarterback. He's going to have to play better than what he has over the last 3 weeks. JJ McCarthy was leading the country in completion percentage through, I think, 8 weeks of the season. Then in the last 3 weeks of the season, he's thrown for basically 50%. Okay, so regressing rather than progressing. And we would rather him be playing his best football, wouldn't we, Michigan fans? Is he? I don't know. Well, there's some small things that he can do that will raise his level of play. Let's take a look at those things, okay? So 3 things. Number 1, when you have an opportunity to hurt Ohio State, you got to take it. Okay, so this is an example from Maryland. He's got a wheel route out of the backfield, and they dial it up. It's a really good play call, and he's got him, right? If you take a look up there, that wheel route is wide open, but he's trying to force the ball to basically a pre-decided route. He's going to force it into double coverage to Andrell Anthony. It's like, well, just take the wheel route. Okay, so a lot of this is taking what they give you, but it's also like when they give you a big one, take it. You got to take it. You cannot pre-decide where the ball is going to go. You got to make adjustments post-snap, read it out, and allow your offense to succeed for you. So that's when something appears that could be a big play, he's got to take advantage of it. All right, next. Now we take a look at like a third down. These are critical moments. How do you maintain possession? You execute on third down, which means if you can get a third down by having a tight end as your first read right at the sticks, boom, the ball's got to go to him. Now, he doesn't hit him. He still has a wheel route wide open, and he still doesn't even throw that. So JJ's got to be ready to throw the ball. Okay, on third down, he has got to be ready to go. Number one, open, bam. If that's not one, no, two, yes, boom. Okay, so the sense of urgency in particular on a third down has to be there. You can't hold the ball, look for things, be undecided or have some indecision when you're trying to throw the ball on third down. And then lastly, when everything is taken away, you've got to either be your own check down or find your check down. Let's take a look at the last clip. Okay, so for JJ, he's going to get everything taken away. Now, this is in the red zone. What do you not want to do? You don't want to take a sack because they're in field goal range right here. Okay, so they're going to try to stretch the field and run some of these vertical seam routes right down the middle of the field, and Maryland does a great job at defending them. See these defenders? They're all sinking, and they're trying to get depth with this route concept that Michigan is running. So guess what? Check the ball down. Immediately, Blake Corum's wide open. Give him the ball right now and make it a 3rd and 4. You can't do this, though. You can't spin, hold, and try to create something that's not there. He ends up almost fumbling that ball. They would end up missing the ensuing field goal after he fumbled that. They lost a bunch of field position. So these are things that he's got to do really well this week. If you're going to beat Ohio State and there's a big play that appears, you take it. If it's third down and number one is open and he can give you the first down, that ball better be on his chest right now. Okay, you got to be ready to go, number one. Number two, the ball's got to be ready to come out. And if they take everything away, you cannot sit there and dance around, not with JT Tuimoloau running around. That check down's got to get the ball immediately. Okay, that's offense. By the way, McCarthy can do that, right? And he's just got to go out there and play with urgent feet. Sense of urgency. Let's take a look at the defense. I've talked a lot about how this defense is constructed, and I love its architecture. Let me show you the architecture really quickly. Okay, so on base down, if you're going to play a normal personnel group, this is 2 tight ends and 1 back. They're going to have 3 down linemen, 2 stand-up edge defenders, 2 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs. Okay, so they're going to try to build a run wall with these 3, have hard edges with the stand-up defenders, and then hybrid-style players behind them, and that's how they're able to go and stop the run. Now, if you change the personnel group, this is how they're going to adjust. They're going to move towards, rather than a 3-4, if you will, they're going to move to a 4-2-5. Okay, so this is how that's built. If you change the personnel group and start to spread it out 11 personnel, 1 tight end, 1 back, you're only going to get 2 defensive linemen. Now that's your run wall. You're still going to have the stand-up guys. They're still your hard edges. You got 2 linebackers and then 5 defensive backs around it. So that's how they adjust. And then the key is a guy like Mike Sainristil up at the top of your screen. He can get in there and really get it done. But it's incumbent on those front 7 players to stop the run. If you can stop the run by maintaining that coverage shell, then it's hugely advantageous to you as a defense. That's why it's so important that defensive front 7 plays really well. Next snap. What you're going to see is their ability to confuse the quarterback and try to get him into a panicked situation. They're showing that they've got 7 guys coming on the blitz. They're going to confuse the 6 guys in protection there, in particular those 5 offensive linemen. How? Well, they're going to show that they're blitzing 7, but they actually drop 2 guys out. The offensive line does not recognize that. They don't pick it up. And because of that, there's a free rusher right in the face of Sean Clifford. So that's how you try to get your free rusher right in the face of the quarterback and not just coming off the edge. They did not slide the protection. They did not adjust. And because of that, you're able to get an easy incompletion and maybe get off the field. That's how Michigan's defense is built. Remember, the 3 keys for Michigan. If you're going to beat Ohio State, you've got to run the ball well. You got to outrush them. You got to limit explosive plays and tackle well. You got to keep them under 7.5 yards per play. And then lastly, you got to force them to kick field goals in the red zone. The 3 teams that held them under 66% touchdown percentage in the red zone last year had a chance to win the game. 2 of them ended up winning that game. That's the game, folks. 11-0 against 11-0, and I can't wait. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoy that clip, make sure you click subscribe somewhere down here. From game highlights to exclusive interviews and rankings, we've got everything you need as a college football fan right here. College football on Fox.